As we continue our mobilization towards halting the voyage to the 2023 elections, we see the enemy also, hastening up, doing all kinds of things to get us into the electoral train, by all means. And who is that enemy? The enemy that imposed the constitution that makes us slaves in our lands, who wants to save that constitution and therefore their stranglehold against the rest of us. We are now all familiar with the things happening to us on account of that constitution. We are slaves in our lands only on account of that constitution. The people that imposed that constitution and who are refusing to come to a meeting of reconstruction of the union agreement are the ones who desperately want to get to elections. This broadcast is for those political merchants from the South and the Middle Belt who are now aiding that enemy to save the life of that constitution at a time we have repudiated and rejected that constitution, at a time we are saying we can't go to renew the life of that constitution by way of elections in 2023. So it is clear to them, we want it to be absolutely clear to them that they are aiding the enemy in a war of extermination we are caught in at this time. Because that enemy has seized all our assets, our sovereignty, all our rights, and that enemy is actually in the process of exterminating us. They are killing people, they are invading and killing people. And it is that constitution that empowers them to do all of what they are doing, particularly the killings, because it is that constitution that gives them monopoly over the guns in the land, in all the uniform services. And so we come back to the question of whether we are going to the election in order to renew the life of that constitution, or we are stopping the journey to the election in order to rework the constitutional basis of the union. And therefore, this broadcast is to address those who are trying to railroad us to those elections, to the election in national elections in 2023. The people from the South and the Middle Belt of Nigeria, the political merchants from the South and Middle Belt of Nigeria, the political parties, operating in the South and the Middle Belt of Nigeria. What they are doing is, for their own pursuits, in pursuit of their personal benefits. The ones who want to be governor, the ones who want to be senator, the ones who want to be president, they are all on the same mission of railroading us to that election, working with that caliphate that want to save that constitution. The day after the election, the 36 states imposed by that caliphate on us will remain in place. Therefore, we remain the political minority, permanent political minorities we are under that constitution. The day after the election, the 68 items on the exclusive list will remain in place, and therefore our assets, economic assets, are detained, and the power has to work those assets. The day after that election, the insecurity we suffer will continue because the control over the guns and all of what we need to be able to protect ourselves will still be where they are. And those who are going to win those elections, before they can access the office they won, whether they are president or governor, will have to swear, senators. They will have to swear to defend and uphold that constitution. And therefore, we've come to inform them at this time. We are still in January of 2022. We've come to inform them that if anybody is hoping to frame the next elections, to frame the restructuring and all of what we need to do now in order to rework the constitutional basis of the union, in the face of the union dispute that have been declared, in the face of all of what their own people are doing to extricate themselves from bondage. If they are hoping, if anybody is hoping among the candidates, among the parties, to now bring that restructuring or that union reconfiguration imperative as a campaign issue, let us now come. Because that's what some of them are already saying in whispers to us. Say, oh no, Tony, come. Let us now put it in as a campaign issue, so that when we win, we'll go to do it. This broadcast is to let them know, to tell them in the, to the hearing and seeing of everybody that they are being dishonest, because we'll be asking them what happened to the earlier promises in which some of the people who were part of discussing all of what was wrong and who then put that in their manifesto, the APC put in their manifesto. What has happened 8 years after? At the time we were raising the issue of the fact that these things are not being done, and the country was going down, but more importantly that Nigerians were now being killed and being impoverished. What did they do? What did those candidates do? What did those parties do? The parties that are coming now to tell us that they are the ones who are going to do it when they win, or if they win. Nobody's going to buy that scrap from any of you. If you are not already a part of those who are working to take down that constitution in order to save the people who are dying under it, then you will be treated as that enemy you are. And you are compounding that situation by going to that election at a time the people you claim to represent, the people you claim you are coming to save from whatever is happening to them now, are doing their best to stop the journey to the election. You are hauling them into the vehicle, into the train, into the ship of the election that will only renew the life of that constitution, that will facilitate the stranglehold of the enemy against them. We're saying all of this because in the days ahead, all of those who are going to be making such promises and such suggestions that, oh yes, we understand it, we had Baba Hakim, whatever, what's his name again, Hakim Baba Ahmed, the one that is involved with the Utomis who are forming mega party. They are now coming to tell us that it is when they win power that they will come to do whatever has to be done. But people are going to be confronting them with what they already know about this matter, so that their dishonesty can be exposed. All of those who, both in PDP and in APC and in AGA, all the things that have transpired over the years in terms of what we brought to your knowledge about this calamity that is befalling people, which you did nothing about, but now coming to ride on it, to canvass for vote, so that you can go to power, swear to defend the document, and then do what after? It's not going to work. And you are going to be confronted. The public is going to get to know what you were told, what you know, so that they can judge whether you are on their side or on the side of the enemy. That's the purpose of this broadcast. Let nobody say he wasn't told. Everybody will now have to come face to face with the dishonesty that has driven us to this point, in which the populace is heading in one direction. Then the politicians who pretend to be salvaging them heading in the opposite direction, working for the enemy. If that election happens, that constitution may survive and the damnation of the people guaranteed. If that election does not happen, that constitution is gone, is dead and gone, and the people will be saved. So those who are heading to the election, those who are inviting people to come and partake and install them in power, on under this 1999 constitution, are inviting them to their death, but they should be ready. Between now and the time the election will eventually happen, if it does happen, we know that there will be a lot of roadblocks before we get to where it happens. But we are pleading, we're inviting everybody to be reasonable now, to know that those who are dying under that constitution, those whose lives have been rendered unlivable under that constitution, are going to take it out against people from their part. We're not talking about the descendants of Uthman Dan Fodio or the political scions of Ahmadu Bello. No, we are talking about political merchants from the south and middle belt of Nigeria who are now joining hands with the enemy that wants to save that constitution. We heard when the governors of the north, at the time PDP was still working out who will be chairman and who will be president in their party. We saw the northern governors go to a meeting to say that if by any chance, if by any stretch of reason, power leaves them at this time towards the south, that they might be pushed out of the union, that they might be pushed out of Nigeria. What else are they going to tell you about what they will do in this election? And everything concerning the election, because of this same constitution, is centralized. They control 100% of the machinery of how the election will be conducted. They will print the PVC, the plastic PVC they'll be giving to you, whereas they know it's a battle for AK-47. They are in the Electoral Commission itself, go and see who and who are going to be in charge of what. And so, will it not amount to utter foolishness for you to go to submit yourself to that process and hope to complain the next day? Because it is whatever they want that they will declare as a result. The police, the army, all of the electoral infrastructure are 100% in their hands. And you are hoping that they are going to suddenly repent from what we know them to be. Jega had told us that in 2015, Jonathan did not lose the election. What else do you want to hear from them? And that electoral infrastructure is still in their hands. This control of the security that will move the ballot boxes is in their hand. Everything is in their hand. And you are inviting your people to go to a contest in which they will suddenly go to sleep and hand their power. Even if they hand power to anybody, in their desperation to save that constitution, we are saying it loud and clear that such persons that will aid them, that will assist them to save that constitution, is only reinforcing our enslavement, our bondage, our encirclement, the killings happening to us, and all the things that we are suffering under this constitution. So it's not even a question of whether they hand power to South or to anybody else. It is that constitution that has to be resolved before we proceed to the question of who will then govern. We can't leave that question unresolved, and we're talking about who is from our part that will become president. Such a person will be treated as the traitor he is. Let it be known. Let it be clear to everybody that there is not. We're not saying this because we saw one candidate or the other emerging. We've been saying it. We go back to the December 16th, 2020 constitutional force majeure. We said for all these reasons I've outlined here. If you go to read that proclamation, you will see everything I've said here. For those reasons, we have to stop and fix the union agreement that have been toppled by this enemy, for which we are being killed and our lives rendered unlivable. This is a question of life and death now, so that nobody will pretend he didn't understand that it was that grave. You are thinking of your own political career and what you make for yourself. We are statesmen looking at the millions of people whose lives are being rendered unlivable, and the millions of others who are now stuck overseas because their country can no longer fend for them. They are running. Young people are running everywhere, but Nigeria, in search of life, in search of survival from their country. And you are there, instead of trying to solve the problem, to provide them relief, you are there inviting them to come to reinforce that situation. You're not going to fight. It's not going to go down well. It's not going to go down well. We better think now. We better reason now and stop this voyage of doom.